Good day children, Sai Ram, and welcome back to the second session of Geography lesson Exogenetic Processes Part 1. In the previous lecture we have learned how mechanical weathering takes place and the various reasons because of which the mechanical weathering takes place. Now in this part we are going to learn about the other types of weathering. Which is the next weathering we are going to learn? Chemical weathering, correct. As you all know, water plays a very important role in the chemical weathering, as rocks is a mixture of many minerals. We have learned this previously also, that rocks are having many minerals in them. And as you know, water is a universal solvent. It can dissolve anything. Any minerals can be dissolved in water, so we call water as a universal solvent. At times what happens, the solubility increases. There are certain minerals which do not dissolve directly in water, but water along with some minerals dissolved in it, a solubility is made, and in that solubility the other minerals also get dissolved. So only we call water as a universal solvent. Then the next part, in areas that receive heavy rainfall, chemical weathering takes place. Chemical weathering is such a weathering which takes place in areas where there is heavy rainfall. Because in chemical weathering water plays a very important role. Now nextly we are going to learn is weathering occurs in the following ways. Here we are going to talk about the chemical weathering. The chemical weathering occurs in the following ways. Which are the ways? First one is carbonation. What is this carbonation? You all must be knowing, when it is raining. The raindrops which are coming along with the rain get mixed up with the carbon dioxide in the air. Whatever carbon dioxide is there in the air, the rainwater gets mixed up in that, and because of which dilute carbonic acid gets formed over here. Mixture of carbon dioxide in the air and the water which is coming down, the mixture of both, it becomes dilute carbonic acid. Now limestone get easily dissolved in such type of acid. Limestone, this is the limestone is the rock which gets very much easily dissolved in such type of acid, that is carbonic acid, dilute carbonic acid. As per whatever I said just now, here is a formula for it. Water plus carbon dioxide is equal to carbonic acid. Water, that means H2O, carbon dioxide means CO2. H2O plus CO2 makes carbonic acid, that is H2CO3. Next, the next way is solution. Now as you all know, there are minerals in the rock which get dissolved in the water. In the previous part also I told you there is a solubility formed. So here I am talking about that only. Minerals in the rock get dissolved in the water. Now limestone is such a stone which is formed due to chemical precipitation. We have learned this earlier when we learnt about mechanical weathering. How is limestone formed? Because of the chemical precipitation between water and alkalis. Yes or no? Crystallization we have learnt. In that we have learned that limestone is formed due to chemical precipitation between water and alkalis. There is a place called as Wadgaon Darya in Ahmednagar district. Now in this place, limestone gets precipitated chemically. Limestone precipitates, that means comes down chemically. That is, it undergoes weathering again. First of all, limestone is a weathered part. Limestone is formed because of the weathering, and now again the limestone is getting weathered. When limestone is getting weathered, that time what happens? The alkalis in the rock dissolve. Whatever alkalis are there in the rock, they get dissolved and make the rock brittle. I hope you all know what is the meaning of brittleness. Alkalis in the rock get dissolved and make the rock brittle rock, okay, which can easily break. Correct. Here you can see the limestone being precipitated. The drops of water, if you can see over here, yes, you can see these drops of water falling down. These are the precipitation of limestone. Okay. The next thing we are going to learn is about oxidation. Before we start with this oxidation, let me show you one experiment. Take few iron nails. Now I am wrapping this iron nails in a cloth. You can see over here I have wrapped the iron nails in the cloth. Okay, you can see this cloth over here. Now it is a wet cloth. After some time I have opened the cloth. You can see over here the iron nails are here, and you can see there are stains over here. You can see these red color stains. These are the stains in the cloth. Okay, so this is your experiment. Now let's have a explanation about this. Yes, have you all seen the experiment? Now let's have an explanation about this this experiment, that is oxidation. Mainly in rocks having iron. Such type of weathering takes place mainly in rocks which are having iron content in them. As you all know, iron reacts with water. Okay, just now we have seen in the experiment over here that iron reacts with water. Okay, because the cloth over here was wet and the nails were there iron nails. Okay, so iron reacts with water and chemical reaction takes place. Okay, and because of which you could see the red color marks on the white cloth. Okay, so here iron reacts with water and chemical reaction takes place, forming a reddish color layer on the rocks called rust. Okay, as you all saw in the experiment, it was the nails over there, but here we are talking about is the rocks. Okay, the same thing as the nails are undergoing oxidation, same way the rocks are also going under oxidation. Okay, so everyone has understood what is oxidation. Iron reacts with water. Where is iron? Iron is in the rocks. What is happening to the iron in the rock? It is reacting with water and chemical reaction is taking place, because of which we could see the reddish color layer on the rocks called rust. Now, as per the experiment of the nail, there are certain rock in areas of heavy rainfall which undergo this process. Okay, as I told you first only, as the nails were undergoing the oxidation process, same way there are certain rocks in that also heavy rainfall areas. They also undergo oxidation. Okay. Now there are certain daily life examples also of oxidation. For example, you all must be knowing, in the rainy season, if you touch the table salt, you will find that it becomes very much sticky. That means the moistening of the table salt. Okay, the table salt has become little bit wet, moist. Okay, then you all bring tiffin. In the tiffin, if you all have brought apple pieces, apple slices. Okay, at times you must have seen that the apple slices turns brown. Okay, all these other reactions are because of oxidation. Okay, now the next way. Now till now whatever we have learned, that was chemical weathering. So we have finished with the mechanical weathering, we have finished with the chemical weathering. Now let's move on to the biological weathering. Like the mechanical and like the chemical weathering, biological factors too are very much responsible for weathering of the rocks. Okay, because of the living beings, the weathering of the rocks can take place. If at all you have gone to some fort, okay, or a building where hardly anybody goes over there, in such places what happens? there are certain trees which grow out of the minarets. Okay, and because of which there is a crack in the minarets. Okay, then at times you can see the roots of the trees hanging around, and because of which a tension is created in the rock and the rocks break into pieces. Then the next thing is the ants. You all must be knowing the ants make anthills, and big anthills. And when the ants are making the anthills, what happens? There is a biological weathering over here, weathering of the rocks over here. Then rats, mice, rabbits, other worms, insects, all this, they make burrows in the ground. Okay, because they are having their home in the ground, they make holes in the ground. Okay, and this also leads to weathering. And so these animals are called as burrowing animals. Then the next thing is algae, moss, lichen, other flora. They also grow in the rocks, because of which again weathering takes place. Okay. Here you can see the biological weathering, how the roots have come out of the minarets. Okay, and how the building over here is getting cracks over it. Then you can see over here lichen grown on the rock. Okay, this also causes weathering of the rocks. Till now whatever we had learned, what was that? Types of weathering. Okay, that is mechanical weathering, chemical weathering and biological weathering. Now let's move on to the next topic, that is mass movement. Now just now whatever we talked was about the weathering of the rocks. Now this weathering, after the weathering, where does this weathered material go? Okay, let's see what about this mass wasting. The movement of weathered rock material down the foothill. Sometimes what happens, whatever weathered rock material is there, which is down the foothill or gentler slope, okay, it comes down, it moves down. Okay, it moves down slowly, maybe fast, down the foothill or gentler slope, just because of gravity alone. It is called as mass movement. Okay, so what is mass movement? The movement of weathered rock material down the foothill or gentler slope due to gravity alone is called mass movement. There are two types of mass movement. One is rapid on steeper slopes and one is slower on gentle slopes. Okay, so these are the two rapid and slower mass movements. Let's learn about this mass movement. First one is rapid. Rapid mass movement. Now what is this rapid mass movement? The word itself tells rapid means fast. Okay, rockfalls, landslides, land subsidence, this all things occur rapidly because of the rapid mass movement. Okay, and the effects, if you see, they are also very much destructive. Okay, they are very much destructive. Now such type of mass movement mainly you will see in places where the climate is humid. As well, there are steeper slopes over here. Okay, that places only where the climate is humid and the steeper slopes are there only we can find this rapid mass movement. Now what happens actually in this rapid mass movement? A thick layer of weathered material, okay, which is formed on the slope, becomes loose. How it becomes loose? Because when water falls on it, okay, as I told you, it is in the humid climate, correct? As water falls on it, the water penetrates inside and it loosens the weathered material. Okay, and the weathered material becomes loose because of the rainwater and comes down rapidly. It becomes loose. It has already become very much loose. So it comes down with a force. Okay, and down the slope. You all must have heard about the mudslide at Malin village of Pune. Okay, the famous one, that is the mudslide which had taken place at Malin village of Pune. You can see over here a slump is formed. I'll tell you what is a slump. At times what happens, this weathered material which has become loose, it does not come down. but it sinks inside, goes inside. Okay, it sinks in the setu and is called as slumping. Okay, that part goes inside. It doesn't come down the slope. It sinks over there only. That is called as slumping. Now, such type of mass movement takes place where earthquakes take place. At times when earthquake also takes place, this type of mass movement can take place. Okay, many a times you all must have heard that an earthquake had taken place, so there was a landslide. Okay, so that is because of this. Okay. Nextly, we are talking is about the slower mass movement. Rapid mass movement is over. Now, slower mass movement. Here, the word itself tells that the mass movement is very much slow. Now, such type of mass movement where it occurs in dry climates and where there is gentle slope. There is no steep slope over here. It is gentle slope. Okay. So here in dry climates and gentle slope, mass movement occur very much slowly. At times in periglacial regions, okay, where glaciers and all are there, that is called as a periglacial region. Along the slopes, small layers of soil accumulate because of the movement of soil called as solifluction. Okay, so this is a very slow movement wherein we can say a small layer of soil is getting accumulated. Okay, and this is called as solifluction. You can see over here in this picture, there is a rock fall, then there is a landslide, then there is a solifluction. Now the last part we are learning is erosion. What is erosion? The washing away of the top part of the soil. Okay, that is called as erosion. Now, erosion takes place through various agents. Okay, there are various agents because of which erosion takes place. In your earlier classes also you all must have learned what is erosion and what are the agents of erosion. What are the agents of erosion over here? Wind is there, then running water is there, then glaciers, then sea water. All these are called as the agents of erosion. Okay, we'll study about these agents, okay, in the next lesson. Okay, so everybody has understood this lesson very well. I hope you all have understood. We'll meet in the next lecture with a new lesson. Thank you, children.